Something huge is happening tomorrow for XRP. But first, we're going to talk about a new partnership that Ripple entered that could change the crypto game forever. Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, moneymakers. So Visa, Stripe, MasterCard, BlackRock, and Coinbase and Ripple backing a stablecoin. Dozens of major firms are reportedly joining forces on the OUSD stablecoin, with talks on revenue splits among partners, according to Bloomberg. And you can see here Monica Long, president of Ripple, saying the future of payments will be multi-chain, interoperable, and built on institutional-grade blockchain infrastructure. Our focus is simple: continue making XRPL the leading blockchain for institutional payments and a natural home for the next generation of key regulated stablecoins, while growing the utility and adoption of RLUSD and XRP around the world. And you can see the announcement here. And Ripple also said, we're proud to join OpenUSD as day one integration partners, reinforcing Ripple's commitment to open multi-chain infrastructure that supports institutional adoption across the digital asset ecosystem. Now, of course, this information was bad for Circle stock, right? That is dropping down 15% today, because if this is able to replace Circle or USDC, so this could be a hit for them. But Patrick Witt is saying another example of how clear rules of the road can unlock massive value. What Genius did for stablecoins, the Clarity Act will do for all other digital assets. So when we're looking forward and we're thinking about what could potentially happen with the Clarity Act, and we'll talk about tomorrow in just a second, make sure to watch all the way to the end of the video, of course. But that Clarity Act could open up the doors to so much potential for XRP and for the rest of the crypto market. We're already seeing how just the Genius Act, which is more stablecoin specific, is now having this open standard, or this open USD, where you're seeing some of the biggest companies in the financial system coming out and creating their own digital stablecoin, a stablecoin built for the internet economy. That's the headline. And so this is going to be very, very interesting to see. We've talked about this before. I think that stablecoins will be the gateway for many regular Joe and Janes into the crypto market. Now, if you think that the crypto market is going to be as massive as I think long-term, and you live in the US, I want to talk to you guys about our partner, iTrustCapital, where you can buy and sell crypto, gold, and silver. So if you're interested in buying, for example, XRP, or you want to buy Bitcoin, right? You can put it in an IRA account or a Roth IRA account and have huge tax benefits for your retirement. It's only available in the US of A, but you can roll over an existing IRA or your 401k, TSP, 403b, and 5457. You can buy XRP, you can buy Bitcoin, whatever your heart desires. If you do sign up using my link, you will get a $100 funding bonus, and I will get a commission. Of course, this is an affiliate link, so this is another way to support the channel. Instead of signing up with some other guy's or gal's link, you use my link if you're already going to sign up, and I get a commission. And look at the difference between someone that decided to buy XRP in a regular account. They made $50,000. They had to pay $7,500 capital gain taxes. But if they bought that XRP in a Roth IRA account, when they go to retire and they sell, no taxes, zero. Okay, that's why it can be such a massive tool. Link is in the description down below. So if you don't know, right now XRP is sitting at $1.04. Yes, this is now where XRP is. But XRP is actually holding a little bit better than others today, where Bitcoin has dropped 3% on the day, Ethereum 2.5%, and Solana 2.29%. With Bitcoin at the lowest point I think that it has been in a very, very long time. Yes. If we close here, it will be the lowest close, daily close, basically since September of 24. XRP is still holding the $1 level. So we have seen XRP almost touch $1, but it was able to hold that. So it will be very interesting going into tomorrow, which a lot of people had been talking about July 4th and the Clarity Act. But tomorrow, there's actually something very, very important that is happening. And it's not in the United States of America. I know that a lot of you are in the United States of America, but it's actually something that is happening across the pond. I'm going to give you a second to guess, right? It is the MiCA rules, right? The MiCA rules that are happening in Europe, right? So I asked the chat, I said, hey, chat, how could the MiCA rules affect XRP, right? And you can see here for XRP, MiCA, Markets in Crypto AdSec, is one of the most constructive regulatory developments we've seen. The impact is likely to be indirect rather than immediate, but it could be significant over the next several years. Here's why. Regulatory certainty is huge positive. MiCA creates a single set of crypto rules across the EU. Instead of navigating different regulations in each country, company can attain one authorization and operate through European Economic Area. This removes one of the biggest barriers that has kept banks and large institutions cautious about crypto. Ripple specifically is well positioned. Ripple recently received preliminary approval for a MiCA crypto asset service provider license in Luxembourg. Once finalized, this would allow it to offer regulated crypto payment services across Europe under a single license. This makes it easier for banks, payment companies, fintech firms, and large enterprise to work with Ripple in a regulated environment. If you saw recently the interview with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and also with Monica Long that we mentioned her previously, the president of Ripple, they both mentioned that over the past year, since President Trump has come and since MiCA rules were voted on and they passed, right? They're implementing now from July 1st, but they had seen a lot more business, but not in the US, mainly in Europe and in Asia. Why? Well, of course, the probability of the SEC dropping the case in the US, right? And the potential of Clarity Act was helping, but MiCA rules helped significantly in Europe. It gave European banks a clear guideline, and now they know that anyone that's working under those guidelines will be respected and will be approved, and there's not going to be problems that they would have to change their environment, right? More institutions can use Ripple networks. If European financial institutions adopt Ripple payments for cross-border transfers, demand for Ripple payment infrastructure could increase. However, it's important to distinguish between Ripple, the company, and XRP, the token. Some payment flows can use XRP for liquidity. Others may use fiat currencies or Ripple stablecoin RLUSD. So increased Ripple adoption does not automatically translate into increased XRP demand, although it can strengthen XRP's long-term utility if institutions choose to use it. That's very important to remember because, many XRP guys out there, guys and gals, they'll throw out those crazy numbers and they'll, forget to mention that, there's a possibility that XRP won't be used as much as those crazy numbers, those guys that are throwing out 5 digits XRP and things like that. I've given my opinion about this already in the past, so I'm not going to get in too much into it right now. But they throw out those numbers and they forget to mention that, right, that XRP might not be used in those specific situations, right? So again, I don't beat around the bush with you guys. I tell it to you straight, and that's one of the concerns around XRP as well. MiCA could push businesses toward compliant firms. As MiCA transition period ends, crypto firms without the required authorization may have to scale back or stop regulated operations in the EU. That could benefit companies that are already compliant, such as Ripple, if it secures its final license. So basically, there could be competitors that are now in the market, and Ripple could come in, or maybe another company, and take their business, and then that would be good for Ripple and potentially XRPs. Now, what does this mean for XRP holders in specific? Well, we have some bullish factors here. Clear regulation reduces uncertainty. Of course, we've talked about how that would be huge with Clarity Act as well. Easier institutional adoption, right? That's a given if there's clear regulation. Ripple gains access to the entire EU market through one regulatory framework, easy peasy, right? Europe could become one of Ripple's largest growth markets. Things to keep in mind. MiCA is not a XRP price catalyst by itself. Of course, we need other things. Just the fact that MiCA is coming into consideration doesn't remove the fact that Clarity Act might not pass in the next 2 months. Adoption by banks takes time. Of course, we know how banks move slowly. Many Ripple products can function without every transaction requiring XRP. We just talked about that. Bottom line, for a long-term investing perspective, MiCA is a fundamentally positive for XRP ecosystem because it removes regulatory uncertainty in one of the world's largest financial market and makes it easier for institutions to work with Ripple. The real question is how much of that institutional activity ultimately uses XRP as the bridge asset. If XRP becomes the preferred settlement asset within those payment flows, the impact could be substantial over time. If institutionals' primary use are fiats or stablecoins like RLUSD or maybe OUSD, the new stablecoin, the benefit of XRP's price may be a little bit more limited, and that's why those crazy XRP price predictions that you see on other channels, five digit XRPs are things that make me a little bit annoyed, but it is what it is. It's the internet. Anybody can say anything and they can throw out numbers if they want to. I am a little bit more conservative. I'm a simple man. Baby, I'm a simple kind of man. And it'll love you till the end. All right. I think I messed up the words. Leonard Skinner. Someone in the comment section of the previous video asked me, and I forgot to do it at the beginning. So we'll potentially see how MiCA is going to affect the market in the short term. And in the long term, I think it's going to be beneficial for Europe. It's going to weed out many of the bad players that were not able to receive licenses, and then Europeans won't be able to use that. But we know that people will use tools like a tool that has 3 letters and rhymes with in the end. You know what I'm talking about. It starts with a V. And so people will use those tools to go around. If you can have it in the US or you can't have it in the EU, many people will do roundabout ways in order to use platforms and specific things that they want to. You do whatever your heart desires, right? Don't forget to smash the like button. Check out the links in the description down below. Check out iTrustCapital if you are interested in that possibility to get those huge tax savings when you retire, thinking about long-term periods, right? Very, very important to think about the long-term, your retirement. Very important. Don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.